Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Today is Wednesday. It is May 3rd, 2023. My name's Jeremy, and this is my first cup. Who is here? We're seeming a little quiet this morning. Good morning, Nathan, Brian, and Jenny, and the rest of you out there, whether you're watching now or later, video or audio. Thank you. I appreciate you coming by. How was your Tuesday? I hope you had a great Tuesday. I hope all of your dreams came true. I had a pretty solid day. Did a few things for a few clients, had a nice call with Frank, went to the gym, went to bed early. Like all of the things that I wanted to do happened yesterday, and I'm pretty pumped about that. Dennis is here. Good morning, Dennis. And he says, I didn't want to make paper airplanes with my daughter, but she was so insistent that I eventually folded. Ha! Love it. I'd love to know what your Tuesday was like. What did you do? What was it about? Did you train? Did you go anywhere? I started working on the next Whistlekick training program. Whether or not it's ready in time for those of you on the front edge of knee clinic is TBD. I'm going to try, but there's been a lot going on. So lots of spinning plates. I had a moment yesterday. I actually worked entirely from home yesterday. Just the way the day fell, it's what had to happen. And I had a moment towards the end of the day where I said, okay, am I going to have to work tonight? Because I didn't want to. I don't like working after hours. I don't like working after even 4 o'clock. I start this show at 6:30 and this starts my work day. And took a look at what had to be done. And this is where the snooze function in Gmail is absolutely brilliant. And I just went through a couple of times. Nope, I don't have to do this or this or this, and snoozed it till today. And took a look and said, okay, here are the things I have to do. So I went and I got it done, and it was done. I was quite pumped about that. Jenny had a meeting and did some training. She was more exhausted yesterday than on Sunday night. Delayed reaction, I guess. Well, you weren't allowed to be exhausted on Sunday night because you had to drive home. So I'm glad you weren't too exhausted then. That would have been a little scary. It's interesting. My body, and I wonder if any of you out there are like that. My body will kind of hold off on things. Like if I'm traveling, my body waits till I get home to get sick. If I'm going to get sick. I rarely get sick when I'm away. No, that's probably the best example of what happens. There are others that I'm not going to share. They're a little more personal. But somehow, you tell your body, like, this is what I need. It's like, all right, I got you. So today, pretty straightforward. I'll go to the office, do the books, client call. Andrew and I will have a debrief about All In Weekend. By the way, we've had a number of people already sign up. So I would encourage everyone to sign up. If you came, don't wait. Good morning, Nick. And what else is in there? I think there's another client call. And then I'll do something active this evening. We'll see what it is. It's raining again. I think this is day 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is day 5 in a row of rain. And it's last I looked, it would rain. It's going to rain tomorrow as well. So plenty of rain. Our April showers are a bit delayed into May, but that's all right. It's supposed to be nice this weekend, knock on wood. This weekend is Green Up Day. If you're not from Vermont, you might say, what is Green Up Day, Jeremy? It's a day where pretty much the whole state cleans everything up. We go out in the woods, in the rivers, and we clean up the trash. and the state handles all the fees for disposal. You get these special green trash bags, and you put them on the side of the road, and then they come around and pick it all up. It's kind of neat. When I first bought this house, I did a bunch of spring cleanup the weekend of Green Up Day. I just dug out stuff in the backyard. There was just trash. There were a bunch of pieces of an old box spring or old mattress, more likely. I don't know who's throwing old mattresses in the backyard, but somebody somewhere along the line did. So I was able to get rid of all that old junk for free, which was nice. What else can I share with you? It's not a whole heck of a lot. Yesterday was a fairly quiet day. Productive, but quiet. One of the things I did for one of my clients, one of my martial arts school clients, we're doing some promotional stuff. They're opening another location, and it's all really exciting. And one of the things we talked about was we need to do some history. We need to get some history on the website because it doesn't have much. And the owner said, well, can you prompt me with what I should be saying? It's hard for me to just kind of go off the cuff. And I said, sure. So we actually got together and we recorded it. Well, virtually, we did it over Zoom and recorded it kind of like an episode of Martial Arts Radio. And now there's a video that we'll edit up a little bit and post on their website. And we'll probably do an audio version and we'll transcribe it. And we'll probably turn that into a blog post or maybe several. Because it's actually a fairly long video. What do we do? 20 something minutes on history. And that ends up being quite a few words. So we'll do a few different posts or pages on it and boost their overall search rank. It's all good stuff. But what I enjoyed about it was hearing someone so passionately talk about the origins of their martial arts school when they're celebrating their 25th year in 2023. It's really cool. Not a lot of schools make it that far. So, yeah. And that, of course, led to all these other things that in talking with my contact at the school, who is not the owner, oh, well, what if we did this and this and this? It's a big list. Let's keep it going. Let's keep moving. History is important, isn't it? I think a lot of times I actually put something up on TikTok a bit about this yesterday. We think about history, and I think a lot of times people are so overly concerned with the accuracy of history that they miss what I think is far more important, which are the lessons of history. If you argue about, let's say numbers, was the year this or that? Well, if the year doesn't change the lesson, maybe we should focus more on the lesson. Jenny says, that's an awesome idea and congrats to them on 25 years. Video is big. Video is important. And it's something that I think a lot of businesses need to do more of. My coffee is amazing. So once I'm done here, I got to pick up the house. The housekeeper's coming. House cleaner is coming today. And there are things everywhere. It'll probably take me about 15 minutes to put everything away so she can do her thing. And I'll get to the office as soon as I can. Stacy agrees. Story is the biggest part of history. Good morning to you, Stacy. Yeah. And I think sometimes because we, as martial artists, exist in this world that is so deeply rooted in history that we often, because everything is historical in the martial arts, in traditional martial arts, for the most part, that we kind of take that for granted. And we end up arguing about these little details as if they change the story, and they don't change the story. Whether somebody was born in this year or 2 years later doesn't change what they contributed. If somebody learned this technique or this form from so-and-so versus so-and-so, it doesn't really change anything. Maybe it changes the surface story. maybe it changes a discussion around who contributed more. But to me, that stuff's not really important. It's about why. Why did that person do what they did? I care about the why far more than the what. I care about that now. I care about that historically. I care about that in the future. Why matters. Why matters so much more. I think that's it. That's all I got. So we're going to switch gears, see what Frank sent over. Thank you, Frank, for all of your work on the show. Thank you to Josh for our theme song. Thank you to Denise for the audio. Where are we? We're right here. What do we got? Retirement at 65 is ridiculous. When I was 65, I still had pimples. George Burns. Oh, there's a name that I suspect a lot of people in the near future are not going to know, because he's kind of fading from memory now. But famous comedian, for those of you who don't know, George Burns. Of retirement blows my mind, because it suggests that the things you were doing prior were things you didn't want to do. And I find that really interesting. We've talked about this on the show, that if you look at people who retire, plenty of them pass away shortly after retirement. What's their purpose? Why are they here? If they don't work, they don't have a mission. Plenty of retired people spend time with their family, or they travel, and that's all great. But that's not the case for everyone. Everybody needs a why. I don't envision myself ever retiring. I don't see the point. I see shifting around and doing different things, but I cannot imagine myself living a life where I don't contribute to the world. And I think for a lot of people, that's what retirement is. You spend most of your years, your 40, 45 years giving to the world, and then you spend your last few being selfish. I think for a lot of people, that's what it is. That's a bummer to me. I don't want either of those extremes. I want some balance. I want to do things for me throughout my life. I want to give back throughout my life. I suspect most of you are like that as well, or at least many of you. Jenny says, 100 years old and smoking cigars. First things I recall about George Burns. Yep. Interesting man. I don't know much about him. I wonder if we have other quotes about George Burns. I didn't look. We do. I must be getting absent-minded whenever I complain that things aren't, quote, what they used to be. Oh, that's not a quote. That's the cursor. Whenever I complain that things aren't what they used to be, I always forget to include myself. We're constantly changing, aren't we? Even if we don't want to admit it, we change. We change the way we show up to the world. We change the way we treat ourselves and other people. We change. We should have to change. We can't have growth without change. And if you stay still while the world changes, that's as good as changing in a negative way. You have to keep up. You have to identify why and what you're keeping up for, but you still got to do it. It blows my mind that so many people in and out of the martial arts want to make something and keep it exactly as it is. One of the things we talked about on All In Weekend, and we've mentioned this on Martial Arts Radio before, you can look at it mathematically. If your instructor teaches you what they know, they're never going to teach you everything they know. It's impossible. So maybe you get 99.9% of what they know. Now you have a choice. If you only teach what they taught you, if you attempt to recreate them exactly, you're never going to be able to pass on exactly what they gave you. It'll be limited. You'll be at 99.9%. And if we follow that out, mathematically, there becomes less and less, or another way to say it, worse and worse. Whereas if your goal is to take as much as you can from your instructor as well as other people and find your own understanding of it, it can improve. Theoretically, your students can get better. And I think that is should be the number one goal of any teacher, is that their students become better than them. Sadly, I know plenty of instructors for whom that is not the case. They don't want their students to get better. Because if their students get better, then their ego crumbles. They don't like that. Mm-hmm. Just kind of thinking about our world, the traditional martial arts world, and this. We still, in marketing, present, oh, well, this style has been handed down for this many generations, and what we teach is exactly what was taught in this place and time. And those are often the schools, from my observation, that just don't seem to be doing as well. And I wonder if they recognize that there's a correlation there. Yeah, there's a personality type that wants to do this style of kung fu the way it was done 200 years ago. Most people don't care. They just want good training. They want to have a good workout. They want to learn something around some cool people. That's really what most people want. I think people forget that. The passionate, nerdy martial artist who gets obsessed with history and dates forgets that they're not the typical student. Something I have to remind some of my clients of all the time. You are not your target demographic. By definition, you own this business. You're not selling to other people who own a similar business. You're selling to people who would never own this business, most likely. So let's be real about what makes them tick. I could totally go back to bed. At some point in here, I need not a nap, but I need a night's sleep where I don't set an alarm. Maybe I even put on a face mask and pull down I have 2 sets of shades so I can keep the room really dark if I need to. But I'm feeling like that might need to happen soon. What's our last quote? I'm guessing it is also from George Burns. If you ask what is the single most important key, there we go. Come on. There we go. You ask what is the single most important key to longevity? I would have to say it is avoiding worry, stress, and tension. And if you didn't ask me, I'd still have to say it. Stress and worrying, anxiety. There's something really interesting about this weekend, in that despite the fact that I worked constantly for all in weekend, I wasn't stressed and I wasn't tired. Well, maybe tired, but I wasn't anxious. I wasn't stressed. I wasn't anxious. I wasn't tense. Because I was living my purpose. I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. My why was really dialed. And I was surrounded by great people. I was in a great environment. And I got a lot of movement. For me, movement's a huge piece. It was something that I was struggling with yesterday because I was in the house all day. It was rainy, didn't go to the office. I didn't have that 15-minute walk to the office. And it was a little difficult to drag myself out of here and go to the gym. Once I got there, it was better. Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate that. The modern world does a really good job of stressing us out. It really does. We don't have complete say over that, but we have a lot of say. We really do. And I think we should take that opportunity. I haven't listened to the news on my smart speakers in 6 months, maybe more. It's made a huge difference. I barely catch the news, via social media. I try not to look at social media at the beginning or end of the day. Try to wait as long as I can before I start looking at it. Instead, what do? I spend my time working on the stuff that we do at Whistlekick. 2 dates for you. Well, 3 dates for you. September 23rd in Philadelphia, Free Training Day, Mid-Atlantic. October 21st, Free Training Day, Pacific Northwest, Tacoma, Washington. The one from Portland got moved a little bit. And then November 9th through 12th, Marshall Summit, Keene, New Hampshire, of which Free Training Day Northeast will be a component. That's the stuff I spend my time on, my energy on. Is it stressful at times? Of course, but it's a different kind of stress. It's not the same as the stress of the world. Stress should lead to good stuff. It should show you what's important. The more we worry about the things we don't have control over, the more we're wasting that energy. You only have so much energy. Don't waste it. Invest it. It's really what it is. Invest your energy, your time, your energy, your money into things that are important to you. I think for a lot of us, the reason we're stressed is that investment doesn't reflect our why. Maybe that's just my observation, but I think that's what's going on for a lot of people. Maybe that's you. Get in touch with your why. Figure it out. I hope you have a great day. I hope the weather is less dreary where you are. Though for some of you, it is not. I know. Stacy's probably got the exact same weather because she doesn't live far away. I hope to see you tomorrow. I hope that you will not wait too long to sign up for All In Weekend if you are on the pre-reg list, aka if you came or were entitled to come in 2023. You should have that email. If you don't, let me know. We'll open public registration on the 15th. And we've also got the Matic Level 1 in Exeter, New Hampshire. We had 2-3 more signups for that yesterday. So that's going well. Looking forward to doing that session. And there we are. I hope you have a great day. Go check out Monday's episode of Martial Arts Radio with Dan Anderson. If you haven't already, we got another one for you tomorrow. So stay tuned. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Peace.